What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another live stream on both KC Sports Report and Show Me Football. I'm your host, Josh Fann, and tonight I am joined by my good friend and co-host, Michael D'Arcy of KC Sports Report. And we have come together tonight to preview Super Bowl 59. Michael, we are less than 24 hours away from the Kansas City Chiefs going for a three-peat. I mean, this is it, man. I mean, we are that close, and it's just kind of surreal that we made it to this point, even just to have a chance at this. I mean, this is something that we dreamed of at the beginning of the season. You know, could go for a 3P. Like, if the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl, like, this would be insane. They're in it. And, man, tomorrow history could be made, and it's just is kind of surreal right now, Michael.
They are one win away from being not only the greatest team in NFL history, but being the greatest dynasty in NFL history. If Patrick Mahomes can three-peat, he puts himself in a conversation of Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal, of the only professional player to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls, or I guess 3 consecutive championships. And then if he won the MVP in those games, like, he's putting himself in that conversation. It is ridiculous how we've gotten to this point as Chiefs fans, that we are watching history unfold before our very eyes. And Josh, I'm pumped. I'm absolutely pumped because, you know, we're one win away from potentially watching history.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight in our preview, and we will give our predictions at the end, guys, so stick around for that. We're not going to reveal them quite yet, but for those of you that are here for sure, if you want to throw questions or comments down below, do so. We will get to them. Super chats are always welcome on both of our channels, even though we don't really ask for them. But Michael, before we talk about the game, I just kind of want to talk about your experience down in New Orleans since you were there to cover the Super Bowl this week. We talked about it a little bit earlier this week, but we wanted to save most of that talk for the preview where we have a little bit more time. So, man, how was it? And, like, what were some of the highlights? Any other funny stories that we didn't get last time that maybe happened, anything like that? I mean, how was it? And how was New Orleans relative to Las Vegas, since you were in Las Vegas last year for 58?
You know, it's interesting because when I do go on these work trips, I like to call them, I'm not really experiencing a lot of the city, but I kind of do soak it up while, you know, I am there because I'm walking everywhere. So I was walking probably 8 to 10 miles a day, just, you know, walking between, you know, the press conferences and the team hotels back to where I was staying. And so I was seeing the city just because I was walking everywhere. I would definitely say that Vegas was cooler, but New Orleans was awesome. I mean, the experience was really cool. There was a media party on Tuesday night, which is insane, where, you know, they got free food for the media and kind of just showcasing some of the culture of New Orleans and the food down there. I had a beignet burger. I'd never even heard of that, but it was fantastic. There's, you know, other stuff like shrimp and grits. And so I ate well down there in New Orleans. But, you know, the experience was great. I mean, to be down there while the Chiefs are trying to do something that's never been done in the history of the NFL, it kind of felt surreal. And at one point I was like, man, like, I truly am blessed to be down here in this position. And you guys have probably seen a lot of it by now, but I got to talk to a lot of the players. I mean, whether it was Joe Tooney or Kareem Hunt or, you know, Mike Caliendo, the list, I mean, there's basically damn near half the team I got to talk to, and they all had a very interesting, you know, perspective going into this game. And they kind of really reaffirmed that the culture in Kansas City is just different than other places. And something that DJ Humphries told me is that I was comfortable in Arizona, but I was comfortable and I had nothing to show for it. Here in 2 months, I've gotten a couple t-shirts and I'm going for a Super Bowl. And so he kind of was talking about how the culture is just different here and the structure helps out so many players. And so I got great insight from so many different guys. And that's the kind of stuff that you're not going to get sitting in Kansas City. Like, you have to go down there and actually experience it for yourself. But I didn't experience a lot outside of the media workroom and outside of the convention center because I was grinding, trying to get content for you guys. But it was a great experience, Josh. One of the souvenirs that I was able to pick up was a little slime hat, which we'll put on for a little bit during this preview. But no, it was a great time down there in New Orleans. I will say an unfortunate thing is that I lost an SD card with a lot of photos from opening night, which brutal, but we still were able to have a good time down there. And I think that's going to be a trip that I look back at, even if the Chiefs don't end up winning, and say, wow, like I put out really good content and I'm proud of everything that I put out down there.
Oh yeah, and I mean you were pumping stuff out all week, and guys, like if you missed any of it, like go check out Michael's channel after this, and the link to his channel is in the description if you're watching from my side. But player interviews, just a ton of them, and a ton of shorts and good insights. Like be sure to go over there and check it out. We also had Lucas on earlier this week. You know, the Kingdom crew got together, so be sure to check that out. Lucas, you know, gave great insight as always. Now, Michael, you lost your SD card, and I remember you were frantically looking for that.
Yes.
Now, what do you think the odds are that someone picked it up?
Probably not high, because here's the thing. Outside of the fact that there's a bunch of expensive equipment and stuff like that, a general rule of thumb, and this just doesn't go for me, doesn't go for you, goes for everyone watching. If you pick up an SD card, you're probably not going to want to put it in your computer. And
Correct.
So I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in the convention center in New Orleans. And that's where it's going to, end up resting.
Probably has been vacuumed up by now. Probably inside of that.
Well, I was like trying to like retrace my steps and think, okay, was I on an escalator and like pulled my phone out and it came out of my pocket and it got shredded, or did I throw it away on accident? Like I was really going through it, and Josh got to see it in real time. But I think so that happened on Wednesday, and I was really kicking myself. I was like, damn, like I lost my SD card. Like I was pissed because I was trying to get content for you guys, and that was all just pictures. So all the important video stuff was on a different SD card. But the next day was Thursday, and I had my best day of interviews. So like I got to talk to DJ Humphries and Mike Caliendo and Kareem Hunt and Trent McDuffie. And so those interviews were so good that I was like, okay, like, that SD card sucks, but I still had a great day of interviews, and the insight that I got was great.
For sure. I just wonder, are you going to be on Twitter one day and you see a bunch of pictures and you're like, hold on a second. Did that person take my SD card? Those pictures look awful familiar, but we'll see.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Yeah. But I mean, then you would know where your SD card went. So who knows?
Yeah.
But how would you rate New Orleans as a host city for the Super Bowl compared to Las Vegas?
I would give Vegas probably a 9. I would give New Orleans a 7 or an 8, because New Orleans is great. It was odd because last year in Vegas, I'm going to take this off. It's really heavy on the head, ladies and gentlemen, but it'll definitely make an appearance when we get predictions. But New Orleans was great because everything was so close. Like the team hotels were downtown. And so I was literally waking up at like 5:30 in the morning and being able to walk to the team hotels, where last year in Vegas, you had to get on a bus and drive like 45 minutes outside of the strip, outside of Vegas, to some really nice resorts. And so it was different last year. Proximity, it was great, for getting around. But I will say that I think I probably am going to prefer Vegas. It was just, the amenities were really nice. It was large, but New Orleans had a kind of a quaint feel to it. Like it kind of felt more like homey, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like Vegas
I
is
get
just
what you
kind of
mean.
ridiculous.
Well, in this Caesar Superdome, I feel like, it's seen a lot of big games, and like there's some memories there. Whereas, Allegiant Stadium is a lot newer. I mean, there's just not as much history there. And I mean, there's a reason they picked New Orleans for the host city this year. I mean, they have a lot to offer. But I could definitely, we were talking about it off air before we got on, but like even a lot of the players last year were like, can we have the Super Bowl in Vegas every year? Like, this is great. They loved it. But enough about that, because I know some people are like, are these guys going to talk about the game yet? What is going on?
We're going to get into it.
We're going to talk about the game. And thank you to everyone that is in here so far. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to both of our channels. But most importantly, that thumbs up, guys, because that helps us get seen. So if you're watching this video right now, hit the thumbs up. Really helps. And we can get to your comments and questions if you guys have any later in the stream. You can put those down below. But Michael, something I wanted to talk about. I know you have a couple things that you want to talk about in the pool report, injury report.
Mm-hmm.
But I did want to talk about this first because I saw Ian Rappaport tweet about this just shortly before we went live. So this was just under an hour ago from Ian Rappaport. #Chiefs star tight end Travis Kelce says he's got a lot of good football left. yet whether he plays in 2025 is very much up in the air. Sources say Kelce is undecided about his future, and Sunday's result could affect it. So this is the first now that we've heard someone legit say it. This isn't Mike Florio. This is Ian Rappaport saying, this could be Travis Kelce's last game. Michael, do you think this could be Travis Kelce's last game? And do you think it's more likely that he retires if the Chiefs complete the three-peat?
I didn't actually know that Schefter tweeted that out. I did see a report from Nick Wright, who was basically saying, like, hey, if the Chiefs win tomorrow, we might be watching Travis Kelce's final football game. And so I was kind of like, okay, this is a possibility. He's getting up there in age. Josh, I think it would be naive to say that the outcome of this game wouldn't sway what he ends up doing. But knowing how competitive Travis Kelce is, if they do end up three-peating and they can kind of get the band back together next year, he is so competitive that I'm not sure he could just walk away. I really don't know. I like to think that he's got a couple more years in him, and he's kind of told other people that have asked about his future that, he's got a lot of good football left, and he's got, years left in Kansas City, but I'm not sure how likely it is that he plays that much longer. I mean, I'm thinking if it's not this year, it's probably after next year. And you got to think if they end up going out as champions, what more does he have to prove? He three-peated with, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. He's now the greatest tight end to ever play the game. There's not really anything else he's got to do. He can go move on to his second career and, continue the relationship that everyone wants to talk about. So I feel like, yeah, we might be watching the very last of Travis Kelce. And if that's the case, I want to see vintage Travis Kelce tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I think, he is someone, like you said, is very competitive. And I would think, if the Chiefs do complete the three-peat, why not come back and go for 4 and just see what happens if you're him? And he's still playing at a high level right now. Like, he's not washed up. Like, he's obviously not getting 1,000 yards every single year anymore. I think those days are over, but I think he can still give you 700 to 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. And if the Chiefs get Rashee Rice back healthy next year and bring back Hollywood, and you have Xavier Worthy taking a step forward in his second year, like, why is that not a situation that you would want to come back and play in?
Well, that, and also, why can't you do to Travis Kelce what you did to DeAndre Hopkins all season? Make it so he plays less than 60% of the snaps, and he's going to be totally healthy.
Hell, he could ride the bench, and you just give Noah Gray all the snaps and be like, hey, Travis, come back postseason time, and when you're ready to go, we'll just throw you in there. Like,
you also got Jared Wiley, who's on IR. Like, you've got options at tight end, and you can bring Travis Kelce back and just say, hey, we're going to give you 40-50% of the snaps in the regular season, and then come playoff time, you get to do what you love. And that's by, breaking records. So, like, yeah, I think you could bring him back, but the expectation has to be, listen, Travis, you can't play 70-80% of the snaps or you're going to die. Like, you're just too old to do that. But he's so much of a competitor, I'm not even sure he would do that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think he's going to play, obviously, if he's here, but you can definitely dial his snap count back a little bit. But we can talk about that more after the Super Bowl because, of course, it sounds like the results of the Super Bowl will kind of go into determining that. So, Michael, I know you had the injury report, you had the pool report for this. I'm going to let you kind of open up this preview talking about this game. I just wanted to get that storyline out of the way first because I thought that was interesting. But Michael, you take it from here. Let's get into this preview.
So every single year when either the Chiefs or whoever's in the Super Bowl, the NFL has 2 writers for both conference. I guess 1 writer for one conference, one for the AFC, one for the NFC, that is tasked with, interviewing Andy Reid during practice and going to practice and watching it. And so the final pool report, which is coming from Luke Johnson, he said the Kansas City Chiefs wrapped up their week of Super Bowl 59 preparations with a short walk through practice at Tulane Stadium Saturday morning. The session lasted approximately 30 minutes, with Kansas City walking through a mock game. Reid said the players will get some more free time on Saturday afternoon before gathering for a team meeting in the evening. I thought the guys worked hard. They got what they had to get. Goodness gracious. They got done what they needed to get done, Coach Andy Reid said about the whole week. As for Saturday's mock game, Reid said, that was going back through the game plan and making sure they refined it and got it to where they can function at a high level against a good football team. The Chiefs practiced in uniforms that they will wear on Sunday against the Eagles with white jerseys and red pants. And after Chiefs owner and CEO Clark Hunt addressed the team upon the conclusion of practice, everybody made their way to the set of risers positioned at the end of the field for a team photo. The next time Kansas City takes the field, it will be to play for its third consecutive Super Bowl title and fourth in the last 6 seasons. So it's time, Josh. It is time to watch this Chiefs team go on and try to make history. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the injury update. This is coming from Matt McMullen on Twitter. This is the final injury update. The Chiefs had a couple guys crack the injury report with Patrick Mahomes, who's been a full go with his ankle injury, Jawan Taylor, who's been a full go with a knee injury, Sky Moore, who's doubtful for this game with that abdomen injury, and then punter Matt Ariza has been a full go, but he's also been dealing with an illness. And so that could be something to look at. Now, getting over to the Eagles side of things, very interesting. The guys that are questionable, you've got CJ Uzomah, the tight end. He's probably not going to play. Offensive lineman Nick Gates, he's questionable. Brandon Graham, questionable, but he's going to end up playing. And then a guy that cracked the injury update who was limited on Wednesday was Jalen Carter with an injury. Now, or no, with an illness. And if you guys are aware, Jalen Carter is probably their best defensive player. He's an absolute monster. He is going to be, tasked with trying to get to Patrick Mahomes and force that pressure on the interior offensive line of the Chiefs. It's probably going to be a Jalen Carter versus Trey Smith game. Yeah. And I actually have a little bit of insight about this illness. So on opening night, I was down on the field, and when the Eagles came out, they were, talking to different members of the media. And Kenneth Gainwell, who I believe is their second string running back, he does special team stuff as well. I overheard him saying, "Man, I don't feel great. I need to go back to the hotel." And so it is interesting to see that maybe a bit of an illness is going through, not only the Eagles locker room, but maybe the Chiefs locker room as well. I'd be interested to see if, Ariza's illness is the same as Carter's, but I expect both of those guys to end up playing.
Yeah, no, I think they're playing for sure. Question is, will they be 100%? Not as concerned about Matt Ariza. In fact, when they came out and said, that he was feeling a little bit ill, that it was not a question that he was going to play. There was a little bit of a conspiracy theory going around, though, Michael, and I don't know if you saw it, that Jalen Carter wasn't really all that sick, that the Eagles just didn't want him going in front of the mic and saying something stupid, because I guess they're a little bit worried about that, or they were worried about someone asking about his incident that he had in college before the draft. So I don't know if you saw that conspiracy theory going around, but it doesn't seem all that out of this world.
Well, and this is kind of going off on a bit of a tangent, but due to some people that I met down in New Orleans, I got a little insight on why Tyreek Hill never spoke to the media, because he was a loose cannon and they couldn't control what he said. That's why you never heard Tyreek Hill talk very much at the podium. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I think maybe the Eagles were trying to hold back on Jalen Carter and maybe not to also give away anything, because he is probably going to be the X factor for that defense. They've got a couple other guys in their secondary, like, Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean. But yeah, I feel like on the front four, Jalen Carter is the biggest problem you have to worry about.
Yeah, so I think that's a good place to start. It's kind of crazy, though, because all week, Michael, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of it too, Eagles fans are supremely confident about this matchup. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of them saying the Eagles are going to win by double digits, and, talking about them like they're some super team, and they're very talented. Don't get me wrong. And I love Nolan Smith. I like Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis is an athletic freak as well. But this pass rush isn't even as good as the one 2 years ago that the Eagles had in Super Bowl 57. And people are acting like this Chiefs offensive line is the same one from Super Bowl 55, and the Eagles are just going to tear Mahomes apart. I don't see that happening. Now, there are matchups that I'm a little concerned about, such as Mike Caliendo being there on the inside, and maybe Joe Thuney versus some of the speed of the Eagles edge defenders. But, that right side, the center on to the right side, Michael, I think, that's an extremely solid part of the Chiefs offensive line that I think we know is going to show up in this game. They just have to limit how much wreckage a guy like Jalen Carter can cause if he's lining up across from Mike Caliendo. I think that's the main concern. But, the Chiefs just faced the Houston Texans a couple games ago in the divisional round, and Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter had more sacks than any other duo in the NFL this season. And the Chiefs, they struggle a little bit at the beginning, but like quick passes, they figured it out. Like it's going to be a similar game plan. You're going to see quick passes, getting the ball out. And also like the Eagles secondary is great, no doubt. But like Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, those guys are rookies. And I think, rookies are at a disadvantage in a game like this where you're going up against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs who have done this over and over and over again and have played on this stage, whereas those guys have not.
Yeah. And listen, I think that those guys are very good and they're going to be good for a long time in this league, but a rookie defensive back going up against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl is not a good matchup. And Vic Fangio is 0-8 against Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team, whether he was coaching in Denver or coaching in Miami. I will say the talent offensively that he has had to work with has been a little bit different than what this Eagles team currently is. This Eagles offense is way better than he's ever had. But at the same time, I really do think you make a great point, Josh. We've been told that this Eagles team is maybe the best team the Chiefs have played in the Super Bowl. And I'm like, they might be the third best. Like, I think it probably goes Niners last year, 22 Eagles, maybe this year's Eagles, and then 2019 Niners. But at the same time, like, I don't even know. Like, I see so many deficiencies
I think,
that they have.
I don't think they're here's what I'll say. And sorry to cut you off, but like, I think this pass rush, because that's like the main thing that like people are centering their prediction around, is the Eagles pass rush is just going to tear apart the Chiefs. And I think this pass rush, Michael, might be the weakest that they've faced in the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying that it's weak, but like, man, that 2019 Niners pass rush, that was insane. Eagles in Super Bowl 57 led the league in sacks by like 15 sacks. Wasn't even close. Then you had, the Bucks in Super Bowl 55. I mean, well, that might have been the best. I mean, that was, we're not going to talk about it. And then you had the Niners last year. And I think they were better than this Eagles pass rush. I mean, and it's not to say that they don't have talent, but like this is not the same defensive line that had Hassan Reddick and Javon Hargrave and a healthy Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. Like it's just not the same. It's not.
No, not at all. And listen, they still have talent, but
sure.
I do not really fear them like I feared other defensive lines the Chiefs have played in a Super Bowl, like you just said. So I feel like the Chiefs have a lot more favorable matchups in this game than a lot of people are talking about. I think that the Chiefs offensively are going to try to attack those young guys in the secondary. And I actually, maybe this is a hot take, I don't think that Patrick Mahomes gets sacked in this game. I think they might pressure him. I don't think that the Eagles pass rush gets home. I don't.
Wow. Because I think that's, if they can't get pressure on Pat, I think that's
over.
I didn't want to say it, but like you have to, like that has to be part of the winning recipe if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. I do want to say real quick though, Michael, because we have 84 people watching now. Guys, come on. If we can hit that like button, all of you watching right now, hit that like button. It helps us get seen. Share this with your friends. Let's try to get 100 people watching this thing. Let's do. Yeah, come on.
Smash that like button right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to grow the best live audience on YouTube. So hit that like button, share it with your friends. Let's make you guys part of the conversation. This is going to fall off my head. Leave comments down in the comment section. What you guys think of this game, questions. We want to get to your comments because you guys make the show. We're just two idiots up here talking, but we want to add you to this experience because the Chiefs are one game away, really just 4 quarters of football from being the best team in NFL history. A mid-market team in the middle of the country is one game away from accomplishing that. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So do everything we just said. Like, share, and subscribe. Please, let's try to get to 100. We're so close. That would be awesome. I think that would be amazing to have that many people watching this preview live. But going back to this game, I think
probably take it off.
I know it's probably weighing.
It's heavy, down. Man. It's probably like 5 pounds. Well, it's not that heavy, but
so you have to get the ball out quickly to try and negate that Eagles pass rush. I think they will do that. I think that's something they failed at Super Bowl 55. Like, okay, here's another thing, because Eagles fans keep saying this is going to be like Super Bowl 55. the Chiefs did not get the ball out quickly in that game. And I think the game plan was also a big part as to why they lost. So I just don't see that happening again. And I think, compared to even Super Bowl 57, it's hard not to compare it to Super Bowl 57 when these two teams played, even though they're a lot different. But like the Chiefs pass catchers, I think, are much deeper. Like Juju was their wide receiver one. And obviously it's not the same Juju, but he still can give you like 100 yards in a game. Like he's still capable of that. But then you have D-Hop, and then you have Hollywood, and then you have Xavier Worthy, and Justin Watson has made a couple big catches this postseason. Not even mentioning Travis Kelce. I think the Chiefs are fully equipped on offense in this game to negate whatever the Eagles defense throws at them. They're familiar with Vic Fangio. I feel really good about it. I see a comment from Chiefs Chat with the guys here. He says, I love to see Mahomes pass for 300 yards. Me too. And I would like to see Mahomes have an over my dead body game. We're not losing the three-peat, and just start to finish is magnificent in this game because let's be honest, Patrick Mahomes has not really had a Super Bowl yet where he's great from start to finish. The Chiefs have always kind of had a slow start in the Super Bowl. And I think, man, how nice would it be for the Chiefs to finally start fast in this game, get up by 7, get up by 10 points. Because then I could see it being really hard for the Eagles because then you take Saquon Barkley in the running game out of it. And that's going to be key.
No, absolutely. I think that's got to be the Chiefs' mindset. And they knew this going into Buffalo or going against Buffalo, that if they could jump on them early and make it difficult, the Bills weren't going to be able to, just run the football and do what they do best. And so it made Josh Allen, play hero ball. And listen, Josh Allen is a 10 times better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Maybe that's a hot take. Josh Allen's a different beast. Jalen Hurts, you can beat Jalen Hurts. And I think Saquon Barkley is probably the toughest challenge for this defense. But I think the Chiefs are going to take away Saquon Barkley and force Jalen Hurts to beat them. Because the last time that Jalen Hurts played a great game, I'm talking elite game, it was 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. He has not had a performance like that since Super Bowl 57. And there's a clip going around of a lot of the young Chiefs defensive players in that game saying, we're about to win the Super Bowl and we don't even know the scheme. They didn't even know the scheme, Josh, and they beat the Eagles back 2 years ago. This team is different. This defense is rallying around Steve Spagnuolo. We read the stat earlier on in the week that Jalen Hurts is one of the worst quarterbacks, maybe the worst quarterback in the NFL when you pressure him. Steve Spagnuolo is going to be hitting the red button to blitz at least 5 or 6 times in this game in crucial moments. And Josh, maybe this is crazy. I feel very confident that if Jalen Hurts has to go out there and will this team to victory, the Chiefs might win by multiple touchdowns.
Yeah, I could see it. I'll tell you what, I think, Michael, hold on, before we keep going. I think there's someone in your comments that you need to ban that is just spewing.
King Jamie, you can take care of him. That's great. I've had a couple of those guys recently, and I'm just like, what on earth? But probably an Eagles fan, realistically.
Hey, but when you have bots, though, man, or who, I mean, I'm assuming it's a bot, honestly, but like whenever you have those, that means you made it. That means you're big. You got bots in your live chat. But I think a Chiefs double-digit win is a hell of a lot more likely than an Eagles double-digit win. I just don't think this Chiefs team, they're too good. If they lose, they're not losing by double digits. It's going to be a close game, I think, no matter what. I'm curious what your thoughts are, though, Michael, on what the magic number is for this game, because we had a lot of discussion about that against Buffalo in the AFC Championship. I think this is another game where you probably have to break 30 to win. And Saquon Barkley, similar to Josh Allen, he's going to get his. That's not to say that the Chiefs can't slow him down, or that they don't have a good game plan, or that, he's not going to be non-existent. But I think Saquon Barkley is going to get his. Question is, can you limit it? Can you slow him down just enough? But he's going to get his. And I think there's too much talent on that Eagles offense. They're going to score points in this game. So I think, once again, the magic number for this Chiefs team is to score 30. First one to 30 wins this game. That's kind of how I feel. Are you on the opposite end, or are you in agreement there?
I definitely don't think it's going to be as high scoring as that one 2 years ago. That was ridiculous. That might be the highest scoring Super Bowl that we see from this Chiefs team the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career. That was ridiculous. It also took, a defensive touchdown a punt return where the Chiefs were able to basically have it at the 10-yard line. I don't think they're going to put up 38 points. I actually think the magic number to win this game is 28. I think if you can score 28 points, I really think this defense is going to perform well against Jalen Hurts, because while Saquon Barkley is one of those guys that is going to get his, I don't think that he is someone that, unless he goes for 250 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns, it's going to be really hard for Saquon to just completely, derail this Chiefs defense and beat them. I think that it is going to take an extraordinary effort in order to pull that off. And so I think, Josh, you win this game if you hold him to 100 yards and a touchdown. I think that's a good defensive performance against Saquon Barkley. If he rushes for 100 and 1 touchdown, Chiefs win this game.
I think so too. I think he could rush for 120 and you still win this game. If he gets a little bit more than that and he has a couple touchdowns, okay, I think it gets a little bit harder. But I think, he could run for over 100 yards and you still win this game easily, because I just don't know if this Eagles passing offense can still threaten the way it did 2 years ago in 57. The run game is going to be a much bigger factor, but that's why it's so important that we see the Chiefs start fast in this game and get up early so that they can kind of take the run out of it and get the Eagles throwing the football, because then I think, you're in a really good position where you could force some turnovers in this one, force Jalen Hurts to make a bad throw under pressure. You mentioned how he was one of the worst quarterbacks this year when pressured. And also this secondary is a lot more experienced than it was 2 years ago. I mean, Trent McDuffie was a rookie, and Jalen Watson was a rookie, and Brian Cook was a rookie. And I think those guys are feeling themselves a lot more this time around. And you have Justin Reed, a veteran anchor in the secondary. Trent McDuffie is an all-pro now, whereas he was really good as a rookie, but he's an all-pro cornerback now, Michael. And, I think whoever he goes up on, he could potentially erase them from this game. And that it cannot be overstated how massive that is, to have a guy like that can just erase the other team's best receiver. I don't think the Chiefs have really had that kind of player in their secondary for a long time.
I am a little bit concerned about the length of A.J. Brown. I think that could present some problems to Trent McDuffie, but at the same time, it's going to take 2 or 3 giant plays for this defense to give this game up. They could give up one big play and probably still win it. I want to highlight this comment by our guy, Marcus Wyatt. He said the Chiefs have been holding running backs pretty good, but they've been not so great towards tight ends. We can't sleep on that. Great content, by the way. How about those Chiefs? Marcus, appreciate the super chat. You're our guy. I do want to say that the Chiefs in 18 playoff games have held running backs to under 100 yards rushing. And so does that streak continue tomorrow against Saquon Barkley? We're going to have to find out. Who guards Dallas Goedert, Josh? That's probably the question that I have for you about the tight end.
Well, you know what? You know who's been having quietly, Michael, a very, very good postseason? Is Justin Reed.
Yeah,
he's been awesome lately. I think he's someone that could potentially take out Dallas Goedert. And also, we want to talk. I mean, we talked about a lot of players in this game that maybe aren't the same as they were 2 years ago. Dallas Goedert, that was his best year, was that 2022 Super Bowl. He hasn't quite. I mean, he's still a good tight end, but he hasn't quite been the same guy from that game. So, I mean, this isn't, prime Gronk that the Chiefs are going to have to cover in Dallas Goedert. Although it kind of seemed like that's who they were playing against in that 2022 Super Bowl, which is kind of why I bring that up. But Justin Reed has been awesome. I also think Shamari Connor has gotten a little bit of a bad rap because he was playing out of position for a lot of when Jalen Watson was out with his injury. He played a lot of nickel, and I just don't think that suits him very well. But when the Chiefs drafted him, that was a guy they brought in to cover tight end. So I think you're going to see a good mix of Shamari Connor and Justin Reed on Goddard, and I think those guys can limit him enough to win this game for sure.
I don't think that Dallas Goedert is going to have a legacy game. Maybe I'm crazy for saying that because I understand
he did in that last Super Bowl.
He did.
He was great.
Jalen Hurts did too. That entire Eagles offense looked fantastic. And,
yes.
And that's the last time the Chiefs defense has given up that many points. And, well, this offense of the Eagles is probably better than 2 years ago just because they have Saquon Barkley, but they kind of, are relying on him to carry the offense. He is the reason that offense functions so well. They were second in the NFL in rushing this season. And that offensive line's great. He is a 2,000-yard rusher who could have broken the record if he played the final game of the season. But I think the Chiefs are going to say, hey, we're going to take you away. We're going to limit what you do. We want to see Jalen Hurts beat us because they've got the corners on the back end to be sticky enough to their receivers that I think it's going to be difficult for Jalen to have a lot of success in this game. And he hasn't historically outside of that Super Bowl. We're going to just take that out of it. He hasn't been great.
No, I mean, he's been good this postseason, but I just don't think, man, because it's going to be hard for him to top that performance he had in 2022. I do want to do real quick, Michael, before my next point, a live viewer count update. We're at 98 right now, guys. Can we get over 100 in this stream? Please, if you're here. Oh, we just hit 100, actually. We just hit 100 viewers in our Super Bowl preview, guys. This is awesome. Keep the likes coming. Make sure you like so we can get found. It helps us get seen if you like the video. Hit that thumbs up right now. Share this video with your friends. Let's keep that view count climbing.
And subscribe.
Yes,
subscribe to both Josh and I. We are trying to both grow in subscribers. But it's awesome that we got 100 Chiefs fans in here.
100.
The night before they three-peat, Josh. Like, this is
you're
insane.
You're already calling it. They're three-peating. That's what you're saying right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
I've been saying it for a while.
That is spicy.
Wait. Can I tell a story really quickly, Josh?
Yes.
So I'm going to look into the camera with my slime hat on. So for those of you that don't already know, I'm still in school. I'm a senior at the University of Kansas. And one of my very good friends who I actually did Bleacher Report content with, he has a memory of me freshman year of college saying, actually it was sophomore year, after the Chiefs beat the Eagles the first time, apparently, maybe it was a drunken night. I just turned towards him and say, could you imagine if this Chiefs team three-peats? And then he's like, that's ridiculous. That's never going to happen. I'm like, no, like, imagine it. I think it could happen. So that's actually on record that one night I had that thought. Josh, never in my wildest dreams did I think that I'd be sitting here 2 years later after they won that first one with a slime hat on my head saying that they could win a three-peat. Like, that's ridiculous.
It is truly insane, man, that they're on the verge of doing something that no other NFL team has done. Which brings me to something that I want to talk about as well. You know, Patrick Mahomes is going to want this three-peat. I mean, as soon as Super Bowl 58 ended, he's like, got to go back to back to back.
He's on the stage, Josh. He's on the stage.
Hasn't even accepted the trophy yet. And he is talking about going for 3. You know how bad he wants this. But I was listening to an interview between Tom Brady and Colin Cowherd earlier this week. And I know a lot of people hate Tom Brady. I mean, I do too. But like, he said something that really stuck with me. And I when I heard him say it, I'm like, you know, that sounds exactly, you know, like this Chiefs team. He's saying once you win that first Super Bowl, it's like, okay, that one was for yourself. Like when the Chiefs won in 2019, that was Mahomes' Super Bowl, kind of. After you win that first one, though, it's like all the other ones you win, you do it for the people around you. And Mahomes has become such a great leader. And this is what Brady said, like, Mahomes is such a great leader, and that's why the Chiefs have had so much success. And like all the Super Bowls that they've won since that first one, like that has been for everyone else. It's been for Andy Reid. It's been for his teammates. It's been for the veteran free agents. And that's kind of the point that I want to get to. Tom Brady highlighted those veteran free agents. That's who you want to do it for. And to hear him say that made me really happy because it's just confirmation that that's what Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, those guys are kind of thinking heading into this game. We don't just want to win this for us. We want to win this for the D-Hops of the world, for the Kareem Hunts of the world, for the Hollywood Browns that like really deserve this, have not gotten to taste this type of moment yet. And here they are. Now let's go win this damn game for them.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an underrated aspect in this game because everyone talks about, you know, DeAndre Hopkins looking for his first ring. I think the Kareem Hunt storyline is actually better. And he kind of talked to me about how, you know, the culture in Kansas City is different, that they, you know, have so much accountability in that group and that, like, this is what he always dreamed about. When he was sitting in that car, you know, after he got pulled over with the legal issues, he was like, man, I should be playing in the Super Bowl right now. And just a couple years later, he's able to come back to this organization and play in a Super Bowl. And he never thought that he was going to be in at this point. I didn't think he was going to be at this point either. So it's really cool to see that. And I think that that's going to motivate those guys to play their best. But Josh, I actually thought you were going to go at the approach of, you know, the first one was for Andy Reid and the second one was for, you know, the veterans on the team. I kind of think this one's for Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Like, this might be Travis Kelce's final game. This is definitely for Patrick Mahomes' legacy. If Patrick Mahomes wins this game, he could lose every single playoff game for the rest of his career, and he did something tomorrow that Tom Brady could never do.
Yeah, I think, and we've said it multiple times on this channel, the Chiefs could, if they three-peat, not win ever again. And like, I wouldn't care, man. I just want to see the three-peat. I want to see the t-shirts come out that say three-peat on them. I want to see what those look like. I don't want to get robbed of that experience. And I don't want to quite get into our score predictions yet, but it's just like, man, Michael, this team, all they've done the past 3 years is win. And I just don't see how that would change now, because the Eagles are a very good team. Don't get me wrong, and they deserve a lot of respect. I've praised Howie Roseman a lot this week for his roster construction. He's a great GM. I mean, that's a great team over there with a lot of talented players on it, but I just don't think they're better than the Chiefs. I just don't. I don't see a reason.
No, and maybe I'm crazy for just thinking this way, but I kind of feel like the Chiefs are way better than the Eagles. And I think that that's because I really respected the Bills. I thought the Bills were just, a nightmare for us, like matchup wise. They had so many good players that, kind of could exploit what we do. I think that you're getting someone at quarterback that isn't as good as the guy you just beat. And while their running back is great, I mean, Josh, how many times can you look back in NFL history and say a running back won this Super Bowl? Like, it sucks. I think Saquon's great. I think he actually should have won MVP this year. But how many times can you say, oh, that running back is why they won Super Bowl, fill in the blank? So
if you look at the leading rusher from like the past 20 Super Bowl winners, it's all guys you'd never expect.
Damian Williams is the last guy with 100 yards in the Super Bowl, Josh.
That's insane, isn't it?
Insane.
Now, then I think it would be awesome if Kareem Hunt could be the next 100-yard rusher in the Super Bowl. How important do you think running the ball is in this game, Michael? Like, I've thought about that a lot. Like, I don't think it's as important as it was against Buffalo, because I think you could lose the time of possession battle in this game and still win. And we know that Saquon's going to run the ball a lot. But also, this game is not at home, so like it's not in the cold, so running the ball isn't as huge of a deal. But like, how important do you think running the ball still is?
Situationally, it's going to be important. Like, they can't not run it on 3rd and 4th down and not get that. And I talked to Kareem Hunt about that, and he's like, listen, like, that's the kind of plays, those are those yards that as a running back you have to pride yourself on going to get, because it wins and loses football games. And so I think they're going to do a much better job at that. I don't think they're going to run the ball a whole lot. I think they're probably going to say, hey, Travis Kelce, let's go have a legacy game. They're going to throw the ball a lot. Andy Reid's going to kind of cut Patrick Mahomes loose. And oh yeah, Josh, the last time that the Chiefs played the Eagles in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes had a gnarly high ankle sprain, could barely like walk. And he was able to gut out, massive runs. And he was damn near perfect in the second half. So like, I'm not really concerned about this Eagles team. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that, but like, I'm not really.
But this might also be the healthiest that Mahomes has been for a Super Bowl, and I don't think that should go untalked about.
Yeah,
because 2019, I mean, he had a high ankle sprain that year. He had
that was the knee year,
and the knee, too. Yeah, he had the knee as well. And then 2020, he had turf toe surgery right after the season ended. 2022, he had the high ankle sprain in the Super Bowl. 2023, he had a couple things as well, a couple scares, but the Chiefs had all that rest right before the postseason. I think that was huge even for Mahomes, because I think this is the healthiest he's been in a Super Bowl, and you could see him have a huge game because of that. And also, I hope the Chiefs break it out again, but I want to see more of the option with Patrick Mahomes, the read option, and he could throw it, he could take it himself, because I just think that's so dangerous. And I understand why the Chiefs didn't do it all that much in the regular season, but man, do it again in the Super Bowl, because it works.
It's like impossible to defend because he's just so good in either way. And
you couldn't do that in 2022 because he was injured. You could not do it. This time you can do it.
Yes, you can. Josh, really quickly, I would like to say, for the 80 people that are watching on KC's Sports Report, if you have not already done so, King Jamie put a link in the comment section.
Yes.
Click that link and go subscribe to Josh's channel. We've been creating content all season long. It's not going to stop after the Super Bowl either. We're going to dive headfirst into the draft, into free agency. I'm going to try to get us to the draft. That's a little, Josh doesn't even know that, but I'm going to try to get us to the draft. And, we're going to have so much content in the offseason. So subscribe to Josh's channel. The link is in the description. For the 80-something people that are watching on my side, go subscribe to Josh's and hit the like button on this stream while you're at it. But I do
appreciate that, because that helps us get found even more, even for this live.
Listen, we're just trying to keep pumping out content for you guys. And I don't know how many people are in it live because I can't see it on my side. But ask your questions in the comment section. We are approaching about 45 minutes on this live stream. We're not sure how long we're going to do this. If you guys keep commenting questions and your thoughts, will probably be around a little bit longer. But we're definitely both excited about this game. And Josh, I feel like, so I don't know, you're going to be home watching this game. I'm going to go to my grandparents' house to watch it because the Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls since I've been watching it there. So I'm going to do that. Now I will say this. It's not great for my sleep schedule. I might stream late into the morning. I might legitimately stream from like 11 or 12 o'clock.
You're saying if the Chiefs win?
Yes.
Okay.
If the Chiefs end up winning, I'm going to stream probably late into the night. I don't know if you'd be down for that.
Oh, for sure. If they three-peat, Michael, I may just not show up to work tomorrow. And for those of you that don't know, I'm in the military. So if I don't show up for work, I could go to jail. I could get arrested. But you know what?
That's dedication. And you guys aren't subscribed to him yet. Hit that subscribe button.
So if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, if they three-peat, yes, let's do it.
I'm going to be so high on life tomorrow if they do that. My goodness.
I know, man. We're so close. You can taste it. But Michael, my question for you is like, what does a Chiefs three-peat look like? What do they have to do in this game? Obviously, we broke a lot of the stuff down, what needs to be done, but what does the perfect game look like for the Kansas City Chiefs? Some realistic perfect. What does that look like for the Kansas City Chiefs in this game?
I think defensively, you got to kind of slow down Saquon Barkley. Slow down Saquon Barkley, pressure Jalen Hurts. Your defense is probably going to be all right. Offensively, I think that you got to throw the football, and I think Travis Kelce is going to have a pretty big role in this game. And if it's not Travis Kelce, hello Hollywood Brown, hello Xavier Worthy. Like, those guys are going to have to make their presence known. And I honestly wouldn't.
Big D-Hop game, maybe?
Probably not. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it, but we haven't seen it yet. And I'm like kind of hesitant to be like,
yeah, I feel like for most of the stuff that people said, like we were going to see in the AFC Championship game, I feel like if we didn't see it in the AFC Championship game, then it's not in the arsenal. You know what I mean?
I will say this. If it's gone. I don't know what I was gonna say something about.
I'll keep saying what I was saying. Maybe it'll come back to you. But it's just like you don't hold stuff back in the AFC Championship. So I feel like, if there's something that we didn't see in that game, it's because it's not in the arsenal. But go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe this isn't a DeAndre Hopkins legacy game. I don't think we're gonna see him revert to 2016 DeAndre Hopkins, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he catches a touchdown in this game. I think that might be the Chiefs' way of rewarding his efforts. But I definitely think that the thought of him going for like a $110 is just so ridiculous at this point. But listen, we can go down the list of crazy Super Bowl catches, whether it is, curse the tight end, that catch that we don't end up talking about because the Seahawks lost, the Julian Edelman catch where he was able to, catch it between like two different people.
Yeah.
Maybe we see a DeAndre Hopkins catch in this game that's like, oh my gosh, that is absurd. That's going to be the reason why they end up winning. Like maybe we see a DeAndre Hopkins helmet catch. That would be awesome. Well, and Victoria, shout out to you.
Yes, shout out. I just threw a comment up on the screen a few seconds ago. I appreciate the support. Also, so Chiefs Blitz was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still here or not, but he had tweeted a video, or it was D-Hop's Instagram story. And I know every player kind of puts out like their own little hype video like the night before the Super Bowl. But when I saw D-Hop's, I was kind of like, man, I want him to have a big game. I don't know if it's there though, but man, it just feels like he's a guy that maybe now that I let my guard down and then he's going to have a huge game. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there's a lot of guys on this team too that I feel like could have a huge game. there's a lot of options. Juju, we talked about him. A guy that has been kind of quiet in the postseason, but was great during the regular season, Noah Gray. Who's to say he can't have a big game or get a couple touchdowns? I just think, man, Andy Reid's going to have some stuff cooking. And let's not forget, too, he's going up against his former team. I know it's not as big of a storyline this time because he already beat him in Super Bowl 57, but, you don't think that every time he goes up against them, it doesn't mean a little something extra for him?
Oh, absolutely. He does not like the way that it ended in Philly. Listen, he's super ecstatic to be in Kansas City and all the success that he's had, but there's definitely a chip on his shoulder. And I think that's something that I've kind of learned just by, being around him a little bit and just, being able to see how the press conferences work. He's a little bit petty. Josh, he's a petty guy. He might not show it, but even when the Raiders did that BS a couple years ago where they made the lap around the stadium,
yes,
and then Andy Reid had the guys join hands in unison and fucking spin around in a circle and then score a touchdown on the play. That's the kind of stuff.
And remember when they met up at the logo at midfield and then they kicked their ass afterwards, did not hold back. And Andy Reid typically doesn't run up the score, but in that game they did.
Well, Josh, a question that I have for you. Do you think we see an Andy Reid masterclass? Do you think we see a 1930s, college football game play? Do we see something that we've never seen before?
Ooh, I feel like he's kind of on a heater right now, so I wouldn't put it past him because that first 15 we saw against Buffalo, that was one of the best first 15s we've seen maybe ever. And I don't think he's slowing down in this game. So who knows? We could see something like that. We could see they have to go for it on fourth down. They do a double snap. You ever seen the double snap? People don't pull it out often, but it's
it's crazy. It's crazy.
But it works most of the time. I would love something like that, maybe on the goal line if they go for it. Yeah, man, I don't know. We could. I would
love to see. I would love to see a corn dog again. I would love to see them do it again.
I feel like
do
it
on fourth down.
I feel like though, if at this point, if you're Vic Fangio, if you're not prepared for corn dog, man, you need to be fired right after the game because the Chiefs have basically won on that play the last two Super Bowls. If you're not ready for it again, man, you got to go after this game.
They scored 2 touchdowns on that play, Josh. That's absurd. And I think that they'll probably end up switching it a little bit. I hope we don't see a shovel pass for a touchdown. I'm hoping we don't.
Oh, can we stop? No, and they did this in the AFC Championship. Do not do the Xavier Worthy backfield stuff. I swear it has not worked all season.
No,
just
not all.
Don't
have him go run a route.
Run a
route.
Because he's been great at that this postseason. Have him run a real route.
Yeah, I don't know if my heart could take a Juju Smith-Schuster legacy game. I don't think it could. I genuinely don't think it could. It might explode. The thought of him going out there at this stage in his career, and he had a good Super Bowl last time against the Eagles too. So who knows? But Josh, I think that the more that I look at this game, the more confident that I feel. And maybe that's just because I feel like this Chiefs team is a team of destiny, but also it kind of takes a lot for them to lose in the playoffs. If we just go over their losses in the playoffs during Patrick Mahomes' tenure, 2 of which were to Tom Brady, they've all been, I guess 2 of them have been in overtime, and 1 of them, the offensive line wasn't playing. So it's it takes a lot to lose a football game in the playoffs if you're the Chiefs. And I think this Eagles team is incredibly beatable.
Well, and I think too,
Sky Moore legacy game.
Well, in the playoff games that they lost, it took one side of the ball being historically bad or, something like that. Or the 2021 AFC Championship, man, it took everything to go wrong. And that game still went to overtime despite everything going wrong. So, and I think, man, it's so close. I do think, okay, my thoughts are all over the place right now.
Yeah, mine too.
Do you think they break out the deep ball tomorrow? We still haven't really seen it, but they had the guys for it. Do they break it out in this game, you think? Maybe take advantage of one of those rookie corners, get Hollywood Brown free down the field? Did you see that Madden simulation, actually, where they simulated it? And
no, I didn't.
Hollywood Brown scored a Hail Mary with 5 seconds to go. Chiefs win 38-31 or something like that.
My heart would explode. I don't think I could take that.
Handle that, but
literally, if that ends up happening, guys, if the Chiefs win on a last second Hail Mary, if the game is tied, I will stream for 24 hours. You can book that. I will cancel my plans on Monday. I will stream for 24 hours straight. But man, I was gonna say something about, man, my thoughts are all over the place too. I'm like just so jittery for this game.
I know.
But
I know.
man, what was I gonna say? It was something about oh, you asked me like who's gonna end up.
Do you see the deep ball?
Josh, I think we see the deep ball. And
Really?
I don't think that we see a deep ball to Hollywood Brown or Xavier Worthy. I think we see a Justin Watson deep ball in this game. I got a weird feeling. I got a real weird feeling that Justin Watson is going to have like 2 crazy catches in this game. It might be on like a 2-point conversion or like a touch. He could have a touchdown in this game, Josh. He easily.
No, I would not be shocked. You do have troll in your comments, Michael. Someone saying, unfortunately, you Chiefs fans don't understand the whole country knows what a joke the league is and has done to set up Taylor Swift and Kelsey drama. And that comment actually reminds me, guys, make sure you Venmo the refs tonight. Do not forget.
I will be sending my Venmo in approximately at 8:30 p.m.
And make sure you send it to Ron Torbert, who's the head of the officiating crew for this game. Ron Torbert. That is who your Venmo needs to go to. So I appreciate you reminding all of us, Salvi, that the Chiefs fans still need to pay the rest.
Can I tell you, for the AFC Championship game, I was there, and we were right next to a Buffalo guy. And whenever like something would happen, you'd see a flag get thrown and either picked up or the flag would like go in the Chiefs' favor because Buffalo did something stupid, I would just start screaming like, "The Venmo worked!" Like I was just trolling this poor Buffalo fan, man. Like normally I don't like say anything, but like with the discourse around what the what officiating has been like and all the conspiracy, got to put my conspiracy theory hat on. All of the conspiracy theorists that are saying that the NFL is rigged and that the Chiefs are going to benefit from all of the calls. It's just like, at this point, lean into it and just say, you know what? I hope so because I want to see this Chiefs team accomplish history. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'll say this again. I've said this multiple times. History doesn't remember the discourse. History only remembers the winner. And if the Chiefs win this game tomorrow, 10 years from now, we're not going to be like, oh, yeah, all the questionable calls leading up into it. No one's going to remember. Just like now, no one talks about any of the Patriots controversies because they won.
Yeah, and look, man, the Eagles fans, like, I don't like them.
Noah Gray deep ball. I like that, Marcus. Sorry.
So it's going to be someone unexpected. I like the idea. Eagles fans, though, like, they do not deserve this. Like, if we were going up against the Lions, you'd see, like, pretty much 99% of the country rooting for the Lions because like they had never won before, like their fans probably deserve it. Eagles fans, no. And did you see, Michael? There was a clip on Twitter going around. The Eagles fans were hitting around a Travis Kelce pinata,
so corny,
during like
dude.
some sort of like tailgate or party or something like that. And I just think like, man, and like I get it, not every Eagles fan is like a low key Chiefs fan or like follows Travis Kelce religiously, but it's like Jason Kelce is one of the most beloved Eagles players ever. And that's his brother. Like, do you think he appreciates you like knocking his brother's head around in the parking lot on a pinata with his face? Like, that just like, why would you do that? That just seems really disrespectful to the family that like anytime that the Chiefs aren't in it, like Travis roots for the Eagles, and anytime that the Eagles aren't in it, like Jason roots for Travis,
Yeah, no, it's super weird. Like this hatred, the hatred's only because the Chiefs are better than your team. That's the only reason why people are, hanging Kermit the Frog things off of light posts and, dressing up the Rock. Have we seen a Chiefs jersey on the Rocky statue yet? Have we seen it yet? What Eagles fan is going to crawl up there and put some great value, jersey on the Rocky statue in Philly?
They don't deserve success, Michael.
No.
They just don't. They're not a good fan base. And
there's been not good people either.
Like, okay, a lot of times you see like people, you see a lot of people say like, oh, it's just one bad apple. The Eagles, man, though,
it's a lot of bad apples.
It's a lot of bad apples and we have countless examples of it. So yeah, no, I really hope the Chiefs win tomorrow, man, because I want to shove it right back in the Eagles' face and the fact that they're all picking the Eagles to win in some blowout fashion. I just think that's ridiculous.
Josh, they got to grease the street poles. They got to grease the poles because they're worried that people are going to climb them. Like that's how ridiculous, that city is. And I hope they have no success. I hope their basketball team loses. Love Joel Embiid, but
I hate Joel Embiid.
I know you do, and listen, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. He's kind of a crier, but and also doesn't play. But getting way off topic. No, I hope nothing good happens to the city of Philadelphia. I hope they get blown out tomorrow. Could you imagine, Josh, if Patrick Mahomes is just carving up that defense and they're able to this is like a 2013 Super Bowl where the Seahawks just completely destroy the Broncos.
Oh man, I would love that. And I just the other thing too is I feel like they're way overconfident after being up a Commanders team that I think was more so happy to be in that NFC Championship than anything. They felt like they were a year early. Their defense is terrible. But let's not forget the game before that. The Rams nearly pulled off a comeback in the final minutes. And look, I called the Rams a sneaky, dangerous team, but the Eagles almost lost to them, and that game was in Philadelphia. So, and it took Saquon rushing for, was it over 200 yards in that game for them to win? Mm-hmm. I mean, man, I just don't know if I see Saquon doing that again, not with the focused Chiefs defense that, is going to be putting in all the resources to stop the run. And most of the time when they've done that, because we talked about that with the countless Derrick Henry matchups, when the Chiefs have been motivated to stop the run, usually they've been able to do so.
Yeah, they're just going to sell out to stop it. They're not going to, fool around. And listen, thank goodness that Saquon Barkley went to the NFC and he didn't go join Buffalo. Could you imagine Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley on the same team? We probably would not be in this.
We probably would not be in the game.
No. But we got fortunate with, Saquon staying in the NFC, playing for this Eagles team, and the quarterback that the Eagles currently have. I think he's got moments where he can be really good, but I don't think those moments are going to be able to propel them to a victory. And that's why I feel confident, Josh. I'm sure we're going to get into final score predictions here in a minute. I think my final score prediction might shock.
Well, you know what, Michael? We're over an hour now. Viewers are kind of going down a little bit. I think it's about time to do our previews or predictions because I think everyone's ready for them. That's what people have been asking since the very start of the stream. Yes, so let's get into it, Michael. We'll go with you first. What is your score prediction for this game? Who wins the Super Bowl?
After a hard-fought game, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to three-peat. They're going to beat the Eagles at Caesars Superdome down in New Orleans after a Patrick Mahomes legacy game where he will end up winning MVP, throwing a touchdown to Travis Kelce. I think the Chiefs are going to end up winning. I'm going to say 31-24. I think they win by a touchdown. I don't know what the spread is in this game. I'm picking the Chiefs to cover and then some. I think that they're going to, really make a statement in this game. I've got the Chiefs winning by a touchdown. Maybe that's crazy. Maybe I'm insane. I think the Chiefs are going to take away Saquon Barkley early, force Jalen Hurts to throw the football. He's going to make a mistake or two. I have the Chiefs winning this game by a touchdown, 31-24 or 28-21, something along those lines.
I like it. Very detailed prediction. Love the insight. I'm going to say Chiefs win 31-27. Again, okay. I think this is a game that you have to score over 30 to win. I just think, this Eagles team is very talented. They're going to score points. You just have to limit it enough, just like you did against Buffalo. And the other thing, it's that Buffalo game, man, there were so many opportunities for the Chiefs to go up big, and then they would do something stupid to let the Bills right back in it. And I would like to see the Chiefs kind of clean up, some of the big plays they allow a little bit because they do allow some explosive plays, even though their overall points allowed per game looks very, very good. I would like to see them limit that a little bit. I think they can. And if they do that and, your bet is that Patrick Mahomes is going to play a good game, which I think is a great bet because Patrick Mahomes doesn't really play bad playoff games very often, then Chiefs are going to have a great chance to win this thing. And I think it was King Jamie who said earlier, I think, Kareem Hunt could have over 100 yards in this game. I like that prediction because I think he's going to be involved in the receiving game a lot. And
I hope.
And if he gets involved in the receiving game, you could really see him have over 100 yards from scrimmage. Let's not forget, Kareem Hunt led this team in yards from scrimmage in the regular season. He's also coming off, that additional week of rest. I think he's ready to have a big game. I mean, Michael, you talked to him this week, and he was a guy that just was already done with the media, just wants to play the game. He's ready.
He was tired of
He's
it.
ready for this game. I'll say Kareem Hunt has over 100 yards from scrimmage. Patrick Mahomes throws for over 300 yards. Chiefs score over 30 points. And I'll say the Chiefs force at least one turnover on the Eagles in this game.
Man, there's a really good chance that we'll be streaming probably 4 hours, I guess 28 hours from now, after a Chiefs victory, them three-peating, being the first team in NFL history to do so. You know what? I've already made up my mind. If the Chiefs end up winning, I'm streaming late into the night. Late into the night. I want to see everyone, in the comment section celebrating with us if the Chiefs do end up winning, which I think we both think there's a very good shot that happens.
Yeah, for sure. Give me a second, Michael. So I want to bring up this comment. I like Dog says, will Xavier Worthy get a TD? I say yes, but this reminded me of something that I want to ask you, Michael, because we cannot sign off without saying, what we think about this. Who wins Super Bowl MVP?
I kind of said it earlier. I think Patrick Mahomes is probably going to get it just because, listen, if Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes is going to get the MVP. But, Josh, the question that I have for you, who do you think wins it if Patrick Mahomes is not going to win it?
Yeah, so obviously, we talked about this with Lucas earlier this week, although most people watching this stream maybe didn't catch that when Lucas asked, if it's not Mahomes, who is it? I'll give a pick for offense and defense. I think Chris Jones has a sneaky good shot of winning Super Bowl MVP in this game if it's going to be a defensive player. But this is why I like Dog's comment. I love that account name.
It's baller.
This is why his comment reminded me, because I think if Xavier Worthy has a great shot of maybe stealing Super Bowl MVP, I actually put this on a community post as well on my channel, because he's a guy that you could see have a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown, maybe over 75 yards from scrimmage. If he does that and his catches are in really crucial moments, I think you could see him maybe steal Super Bowl MVP.
That would be insane. If Xavier Worthy as a rookie ends up winning Super Bowl MVP, that's crazy. I think
it'd be insane.
I think they'd give it to Travis. I think Travis has a really good shot, especially this. If this is the final stand, the last dance, so to speak, man, that better be make a last dance. If the Chiefs end up winning this Super Bowl, they got to make a last dance about this run, because it's just absurd. But I think Kelsey probably has the second best odds, and defensively, I think it's Chris Jones, like you said.
Yeah, I like it. I think we agree. So, Michael, I think that about wraps up our Super Bowl preview. We're at an hour and 7 minutes right now, but guys, you have been great tonight. We've had a huge, awesome crowd in here. So, one more time, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. You can check out my work on showmefootball.com, arrowheadaddict.com. Follow me on Twitter at showmefb. All that's going to be in the description down below. And for those of you that are watching on my channel, make sure you go and subscribe to Michael, because, if you aren't, what are you doing?
Absolutely. And guys, if you have not subscribed to Josh's channel, if you're watching on my end, hit the link and that's in the comment section, or also just go over to Josh's channel at Show Me Football, Josh Fan. Go subscribe to him. We've both been pumping out content for this game. We're going to try to do something tomorrow after the game. Hopefully it'll be a party. I'll tell you what, Josh, tomorrow's live stream, tomorrow night, if they do end up winning, I'm not sleeping. I will not. Listen, I probably wouldn't sleep regardless. I'm not going to sleep with you guys. I'm going to be up here trying to talk about it, because it's going to be, God, it's going to be so amazing.
Yeah, let's hope, guys, that tomorrow night we're back here again having a party after the game. That's what I want. I know it's what you guys want. So let's hope, man. It's the eve before the Super Bowl. But I think, Michael, that's a good place to wrap it up. So we are going to sign off. Again, you guys heard it. Everything's in the description. Michael's channel, my channel. Like, share, and subscribe. That's all we got for this one. We will see you guys in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.